next guest represents Georgia's first and best congressional district. He serves on the House Appropriations Committee, is the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Agriculture, Rural Development, the FDA, and related agency, and sits on the Subcommittee on Defense. He can also deadlift over 4,000 pounds, and back in high school once ran the 40-yard dash in under 2 seconds while saving 5 puppies from certain death.
Wow.
While carrying a piano. Thought I'd throw that in there. We welcome back to the program Georgia Congressman Jack Kingston. He knows bills like I know thrills. Hey, Congressman, how you doing?
It was nothing, Greg, I can promise you.
Yes,
I'm ready to go again, and nothing about, I'm out of high school. I can still do it.
Yeah, I bet you can. I bet you can. I got to ask you, I want to start with this letter you and other Republicans sent to Speaker Nancy Pelosi. We're very surprised that she could read. Anyway, you objected to what you say.
It's almost as surprising that we could write.
Yeah, that's true, too. You guys are politicians, so you got to learn something.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that's right.
You guys objected to what you say are the Democrats' attempts to attach costly, non-defense legislative items like an increase in the debt limit to next year's defense appropriations bill. Can you explain what that means to a moron like me?
Well, I'll tell you what's happened. Yes, imagine a freight train carrying boots and ammunition and backpacks and jeeps to the troops, and we decide to put on it all kinds of candy for the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. That's what's going on. However, we think that that letter and the fact that so many people back home have found out about this and raised Cain, we believe that the Democrats are now going to peel that off the defense bill. So there's some good news in it, but originally it was going to have an estate tax provision, which could have actually been good, an extension of unemployment benefits, an extension of COBRA, a small jobs bill, raising the debt ceiling to over $12 trillion. A lot of things that are totally unrelated to this bill, some which should be debated on their own merits. One of the things was an agriculture disaster bill. Has nothing to do with the defense of the troops in Iraq or Afghanistan. And then another one was because of the Social Security COLA, the cost of living adjustment. This year, people on Social Security will not be getting an increase because inflation is down. The president wanted to put a $250 per person rider on the defense bill so that the senior citizens got something. And, there again, hey, debate that separately, but do not put it on the backs of troops.
What is the goal? What is Pelosi's goal here to add all these riders on? I mean, isn't it? It's obvious to everybody that it's kind of a cheap way to get things done, but she does it anyway.
Well, I think you know what the goal is then. It is a cheap way to get things done. What happens at the end of the year is like the last 2 minutes of a basketball game. People start focusing, oh, wait, we actually do need to go home sometime and leave this bubble in Washington, D.C. Maybe we should take all the bills off the shelf that we've been talking about passing all year long, but haven't done a thing with. Maybe we can stick them on the defense bill. Then we'll go out of town and have a good Christmas holiday. So that's what.
How come you can't ban this? How come you can't create a law that says you're not allowed to do this? But then would somebody attach a rider that says you can't do that? I don't get it. I don't know. Everybody should be against this.
Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting point because frequently we have rules that we pass in the House says you can't do this, except then we waive that rule on the next bill, so we do it over and over again. I think one of the things that we want to do as Republicans, as challengers, is say all bills have to be posted on the web for 7 days before they're actually voted on. And that way it would maybe not eliminate this practice, but at least put it out in front of the public for all the scrutiny for people to say, hey, wait, does this really belong on this bill or not? And people could read it.
I'll tell you one thing, Bill is often posted on the web all the time, not just 7 days. What's the web?
I am mad at you, Bill. Bill, you came to Savannah. You didn't call me. I was in New York. Greg and I got together. We broke bread with some of his friends and Thaddeus McCotter. But you came to Savannah. I sat by the phone all weekend. Did I hear from you? No.
It's interesting.
Nothing.
Greg told you I was in Savannah, did he?
What?
You told me you were coming to
I've never been to Savannah. I was in Miami. What part of Miami and Savannah are similar?
You told me you were coming to Savannah.
I've never been to Savannah. I went to New Orleans.
You have no memory of going to Savannah.
I never went to Savannah.
All right.
I have the tickets to prove it.
All right. You know what happened? He said he was going to Savannah, then he went to Miami instead. That's what I think happened. Hey, I would love to go to Savannah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
I just got time for one question because we got sidetracked on Bill's trip to Savannah that he didn't take. Healthcare. Is some kind of bill going to pass Senate or is it dead?
I'm afraid something is going to pass right now, and Bob Dole said this, that if the president gets a devil foods cake recipe, he's going to call it health care reform, have a Rose Garden sign-in celebration, and call it a day. But I think that the Senate really does want this kind of socialistic government takeover of health care, and they're willing to, you know, figure out what they can do about abortion or about the public option or whatever. And so Harry Reid really and truly is trying to just keep these guys locked up until they get something that 60 people will agree on. And it might have nothing to do with health care, but they're going to call it health care.
Hey, Congressman, I'd like to add to that, but I can't because I'm in Savannah. That was the weirdest thing ever.
No, you're not. You're in Miami.
All right.
It's beautiful here, by the way.
Congressman, ignore the strange troll. We gotta go. Thank you so much. Good seeing you Saturday night, and I'll talk to you soon. We'll have you back on. Coming up next, your emails.